Hi and welcome to nimble.handmade. My name is Pia and I'm coming to you from Belgium. In this 13th Yarny Tale, I would like to tell you all about what I have on my needles and of course what I have finished. And in the end I have a nice prize to win. So stick around, grab yourself a drink and maybe a project, and let's dive into it. So the first one I want to talk about is one I had in my knitting basket for a very long time, and not because it was hard to knit. It wasn't hard at all. It was a very simple pattern, but because it was knit in panels. So bottom up, and it was knit in panels. And it's this one. So this is the top Marina number 10, which is created by, I'm just gonna try and show you, which was created by Marina Herms. She's also known as MYPZ, and she is a Dutch designer. So I'm just gonna stand up and show it a little bit. Sorry, my chair just sunk a bit. Marina has on her website not only the patterns, but she also sells her hand-dyed yarns, which are beautiful, and also the finished garments are for purchase on her website. This one I didn't knit with the yarn she created. I used a Belgian yarn, which is Kit Anel, and it's a mohair blend. So it has 80% mohair and 20% polyester. Now it's quite a bit thicker than just silk mohair, as you might be able to see. And it, well, 25 grams is just 100 meters. So normally 25 grams in kid silk is about double, but it's about double the thickness, so double the weight of the yarn. I used 3 strands and knitting needles of 10 millimeter knitting needles to create this fabric, and the details are in a shimmering yarn. How do you call that? So, well, you understand what I mean. It has this shine to it. It's gold, like gold thread. That was an old bobbin of Fildar, which is a brand in France, which alas doesn't exist anymore. It's well, they have done a restart or something, and well, it's still called, sometimes the yarn is still called Fildar, but then the website is something else. It's quite complicated. But anyway, I still had the yarn, so I could use it for this sweater. Now, you can, of course, make this in the colors you want. She also has a rainbow version, which I like very, very, very much, but I didn't have all the colors in the rainbow. I do have quite a yarn stash of this yarn, because the Eveline cardigans that I made and that I showed last time, no, was it last time? Maybe. In one of my knitting tales I showed you my Eveline cardigans, and I used to sell kits for them as well. But I don't do that anymore, I just sell the pattern. So I still have some yarn left and I'm trying to use it. So this sweater was one of it. Was one of the means to use this yarn. I think it worked out well. The only thing I regret is that I used this color so close to my neck, because I don't think that it suits me a lot, that it gives some definition to my face. Maybe I should have gone for the white and then I repeated the white here, because now I also think that it's quite a funny look that this stripe is happening here. Nevertheless, now that it's finished, finally, I'm just gonna keep it the way it is and wear it the way it is, I think. And if it still bothers me, then I can still take it apart and knit the knitted white piece. But I will need the white yarn for something else. I was gifted a very beautiful pattern, which is the bomber cardigan Tulips blue number 9. Um, that's the way the pattern is called on Marina's website, because it's by the same designer, MYPZ, in the Netherlands. And she created this time a lovely cardigan with tulips on them. So, of course, we are in Belgium here. We have tulips, but not as much as in the Netherlands, of course. But I still do like tulips, and I think the pattern is stunning. Um, the only thing I would change is the color, because in the Netherlands there is also Delft, and which is a city. Yeah, it's a city that is known for the colors. So the bright royal blue and the white are um, painted on porcelain or on china. So that is not known. And well, the colors of the original sweater remind me of that kind of china that you see in Delft as so much. So I want it to be a bit more not toned down, because I'm going to use more colors. Um, yeah, but more realistic, perhaps. So I'm going to do the stems and the leaves in a greenish color, and then the flowers will be in different, uh, yeah, different shades, like a yellowish, yellow and orange together, I think. Something pink, something purple. Yeah, a mix. That is still to be seen, of course, because I haven't tried that. I only started with the sample. So I made a gauge swatch, and I started over here using just one thread of, so one strand of this kit anel combined with drops air. Now drops air, I used this one because in the pattern she also uses a voluminous yarn to held together with the mohair to create a fabric that is not see-through, because as you might be able to see on this one, you can see that it's quite see-through, and if you would knit color work using just the kit anel, it would, yeah, you would see the floats, the strands going behind your work, and that wouldn't be nice either. So to uh, have a crisp background for all your colors, you might need a thicker yarn to combine, and this is what I still had in stash, which is the Drops Air. It's a very lightweight yarn. It's a blown yarn, so that creates a nice and not so heavy fabric, because I think the cardigan will be quite bulky as it is knit on a 9mm needle, and you it's ferrile, so you use an extra, you have the floats behind your work, so it's a double layer of your work. And that is why every excuse is good. That is why I'm going to prioritize on this knit, because it's something that you can wear as a jacket in spring, but well, March, April, maybe even February next year, and maybe some days into May. But then the season is over for this kind of garment. So that is why I would still like to wear this cardigan a bit. So I'm gonna need to knit it, and quite fast. So I'll keep you posted on that one. Nevertheless, I still have something to finish as well, which is the sweater number 20 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So last time I finished the top panel of the back and then the two panels that go in front, and now I have closed them. I have made the armholes by closing them all together, and now I'm knitting on the body. Now I'm just gonna show the yarn that I use. It's the Novita Isaveli, which is a sock yarn. It has the standard yarn in it, which is 75% wool and 25% polyamide for the strength, but it's quite hard on the hands to knit all these cables. Partly for that, partly because it's a winter knit, it's a winter color. I'm going to put that in hibernation for the summer. But I want to make the body, so all the cables of the body I still want to make, and then it will go into hibernation, and I will prioritize my Tulips cardigan. I do that. So finishing the cables. I do that because, well, throughout the year you might well you might notice that it has been sitting in the knitting basket for so long, and you are picking it up again, and sometimes you can see it, that your gauge has changed a little bit, or you do something differently, and that's why I want to finish the cables and start when I pick it up again at the end of the summer, and I start again. I will start with the border, and well, you need another gauge for that anyway, so you use other needles, so smaller needles for that. So that won't be the problem then. But I still have to do, I think I now have 43 centimeters on in total length, and I have to do 50 plus centimeters, so it's still like 10 centimeters that I need to knit, but it's a slow it's a slow knit, and yeah, well, we'll see how soon that I can get there. Now I'm just gonna look around and show you my bag. I'm keeping it into this project bag. It's by Sostrene Grene, which is a lovely, I think it's Swedish shop that has come to us. It's a chain of shops, and really they have marvelous things for accessories for knitters and crocheters and everything. If you are into crafting, you really should check them out. They have a web shop now as well. It's two sisters, Anna and Clara, and well, the Swedish for that is Sostrene Grene, uh, the Grene sisters. So this is my project bag, and it has this lining inside that you can close with a drawstring, so that will be their blanket for summer. And I still have quite some yarn left. I'm just gonna count them. 2, I still have 7 balls of this yarn left. I was worried that I would be playing yarn chicken because the pattern indicated that I needed more yarn. But as I have now almost finished, not almost, I still need some centimeters. Um, but the body part is the main part of the sweater because it's a dropped shoulder, so you don't knit for the entire arm, you only knit the sleeves or a piece of the arm. And then of course there's a double folded collar, but I think it will be enough. I hope so. Anyway, and for the pattern I have made it a bit more readable for me. So cables are in a lot of patterns, the cables are indicated using 2 bars going in a certain direction. Now I think it's hard to see, and the pattern, although I already printed it on an A4 paper, it's still quite small. So I'm not going to show the entire pattern, but what I did is I indicated um, which one is a cable that you make in front and which one is a cable that you make in the back. It's so much easier for me to see than seeing lines going left and right. It's quite small to read, so that was my little trick to make it a bit easier on me when I read it, especially in the evening when you don't have so much lighting. Anyway, to be continued after some. Maybe I will bring it up in the next one to just show what has changed, but then it goes to sleep. Another one that is almost finished, but not quite, is my genres. It's not my make-along, it's the make-along of Two of Wands of Alexandra Tavel, but it's my storyteller wrap, and I just made a dog ear on my pages. This is how it turned out. I'm just gonna put it around so you can see. This is what it looks like. And I must say that I am glad that I blocked it because it was quite small. The ends of the shawl were all only up to here, I think. And well, it was too short and a bit too tight. So I gave it a steam block and it worked out really, really well. It's not finished in the sense that I still need to make the tassels. She has 3 options, I think, to make tassels. Yeah, there are 3 options in the pattern, and she also explains them. And I saw now that she also steams her tassels, which make them almost look like store-bought. It's really something. So I will look into that and make some tassels to accompany the shawl. It did have a big, uh, a great number of ends that I needed to weave in. So I did weave them in over here. Was quite a job, but I'm glad I did it, and that it's blocked now. I can wear it as it is. In fact, I do like the tassels. I think it gives that little bit of an extra to it. So I will make them in the coming week, and then I will show you the final result on Instagram and of course here. I was of course not able to purchase the You and Me that it was indicated in the pattern. It's a yarn by Lion brand, but I used Julia, which has the same contents. It's 80% acrylic and 20% wool, but it's in yeah in a store that you, well, it's a chain over here, a Dutch chain, which is called Zeeman, um, and it's a nice yarn to work with. So it's very inexpensive, and every year they have a number of colors, and every year that changes, and then every year I am so tempted by the colors that I buy some, and I have a whole box of Julia now. So I'm finding some projects to use them in. Anyway, I'm glad I made the shawl and glad with the result. The next one is also a shawl and also a make-along. I'm a sucker for make-alongs. It's the Lanima Cal, which is hosted by Katia, which is a Spanish yarn brand. I wasn't able to get the kit for the shawl, so I did dive into my own stash. So the yarn that was used by Maria Hegenbart, which is also known as a fine motoriek blogspot on Instagram. She used a cotton cashmere concept, which is a cotton cashmere blend. I used the silk hair by Lana Grossa, which is a kind of kid silk, and then for the in-between stripes I combined that with the Brillino, also by Lana Grossa, and then the beautiful part here is done with a hand-dyed yarn by not a Dutch, a Belgian dyer, painted sheep. So that's a hand-dyed yarn, and I think it's well, it really comes to life with this hand-dyed yarn in between. I am well. I was tempted to already block it just for now to see how it works out, but I haven't. I'm just gonna wait till the shawl is finished because I already lost some stitches just by picking it up. So no, I'm not gonna block it before I'm done with it. So I just have to do some more rows on this one, and then there will be another part, another part in this yarn. And well, in total it has 6 stripes, so 3 of these ones and 3 of these ones. It's a huge number of stitches because you increase 2 stitches in every row, so in the right side row and the wrong side row. I can tell you that's a lot of stitches. But anyway, I hope to be done soon with this part of the lace, and then there will be this glossy intersection, and the next uh, the next band will then be in this yarn. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. You can still join in the cow. I think almost all the patterns are online now. I think it was by 2 stripes at the time that you could get the pattern, but I will link it below if you are interested to join. And maybe you have some kid silk and a sock yarn still lying around, and then you can use them to make a beautiful shawl and to show it off a little bit more than just wearing it on your feet. The next one is my Soulsoothing Squares blanket. So no, I'm just kidding. This is not a blanket. This is just one granny square of the blanket. And I am starting to attach the border on this one. So I start in one corner, I do 3 sides, and then I attach a new one to this one with the border, and I do 2 sides, and then I attach another one, and in that way I include the 5 squares, and then with the border here at the bottom I attach it to the main blanket. It seems complicated, but it isn't. And I'm going to show you the part that I have already done. So this is what it will look like in the end. And as you can see, it is huge. I hadn't expected it to be so big. Maybe I would have chosen to do smaller squares. So if I had taken squares like this, so just pink at the end, then I could attach a border that was maybe a bit bigger. So then like two rows or 3 rows of the border, and then it would be less eclectic than it is now, because I think it's still quite wild when it comes to colors. They are uh, they work well together, but it's not as quiet as I thought it would be. Anyway, you live and learn, don't you? So maybe I can show you the difference. So what I did, I did put all the squares on the floor, and then I attached them all together with stitch markers. And this is the, well, these are the grannies unattached. So it was quite a bit of a hurdle to get them all together, but in the end it worked out. And I'm still happy with what I have. It will be a huge blanket, so the border will be not, I won't attach a big solid border to it. I will keep it quite small, I think. Maybe even just a few rows of granny stitch uh, in the beigey color. Also, for this border, I'm now attaching. I'm working on the 6th row to attach. On the 5th row, I'm sorry. On the 5th row to attach, and I still have this much left from one ball of yarn. So this is just regular acrylic yarn. It's Skepius Color Crafter, and so that's like 300 meters on a skein of yarn. But you don't need much. I was quite surprised how little you need for a blanket, because that's the yarn I have still left. And now there are pockets of air in between the balls of yarn. There was no air whatsoever when I started the blanket, but anyway, there is still a really big chunk of the yarn left, so I can make a second blanket. Or maybe some accessories. I want to revamp our lounge set in the garden a bit, and I thought that, well, this would bring a pop of color. It will bring a big pop of color, I think. So I can make a sister blanket or a brother blanket. I don't know, something that has similar colors in it, and I can make some cushions. Do you call it cushions? To put on in the lounge set. So yeah, we will be quite comfy this summer on a chilly evening. But anyway, um, I'm still happy, and I'm quite sad that the squares are done. I did look forward to making the squares. They're just this little tiny project that you dive into and you see the result, and the colors are enhancing your mood. And well, I will have to look for another one, another square project, I think, as soon as this one is finished. Now I still have my socks. I do have, of course, the Cider House Rules sock. Not Cider House Rules, no, that's a book. No, I don't have I have the Cider House socks by Summer Lee, still on the needles, so the second one is not finished yet. As soon as I have it finished, I will, of course, show you. But this one is one that has no pattern, or the pattern is in my head. um, I wanted to make a shorty sock with this yarn because it's a yarn by Lang. It's called Super Socks, and it's a bamboo yarn. Let me see. 50% virgin wool, 35% viscose, which is the bamboo, and then 15% polyamide. Now, we were in the car, and I thought, well, how long shall I make the leg? So the cuff. And normally well, my foot is 25 centimeters, and normally I do something like 20 centimeters for the cuff. So I thought I will do half of it, 10 centimeters, and then just the border. But as I want to wear these as sneaker socks, and when I put them on, it's still quite a bit of leg that is covered in sock. So I will have to rip it back, I think. And I was wondering if I should do it using a cuff like this, or maybe do it this way. Just gonna try to show you. This is the yarn end, of course. And then have it, if you just knit stockinette stitch, you can have it a rolled edge like this. So I was wondering if I could do that. And I think I might be able to do that, but I will need to rip back to just below this stripe and then start again with a 2mm. So I do the entire sock on 2.5mm, and the cuff, or the border, the hem here, I do that on a 2mm needle. I have, well, I think the yarn is still stretchy, but not as stretchy as regular sock yarn. So I'm wondering if I need to do some extra decreases as well. But anyway, we will see. I will knit up the second sock, try to get the border right, the cuff right, and then we will. I will see what I have to do about this one. But it's well, it's a kind of a vanilla sock. It's a super easy sock. I just start at the toe and then do the foot, and then leave some space for my afterthought heel, and move on to the leg, and then afterward do the, of course, afterthought heel, and well, then it's finished. I do like the afterthought heel in this kind of sock as well, because you can play with the colors and then it gives this funny little accent. Of course, you can do contrasting colors as well. But anyway, that's all I have on the socks today. The last thing I want to share with you is something that I want to share with you and give to you. It's a prize-winning contest for my Start to Granny bag. We did a workshop at Woolstory in Mechelen last week. We had a blast during the workshop and the results are really stunning. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen some of them pass in my stories. They're really, the colors are really beautiful. But now I have made a pattern, and the pattern also includes a tutorial, especially for the perfect granny square. Now, for me, the perfect granny square, of course, stays square, no matter how big you make it. I will teach you how to do it. I will also teach you how to make sure that there is no start or end to the uh, the not the rows, the you know what I mean, the rounds. And then, of course, you don't need to sew in so many yarn ends. All you have to sew in is the very last one, if you make the granny exactly as I teach you in the workshop or in the pattern. So if you are interested in that, just leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel. I will, in the next episode, pick 3 names and they will get the pattern. The pattern is in Dutch and in English. You might have noticed that the Yarny Tales are also in Dutch and in English, so make sure you pick the right one. But of course, I will provide you with the English version. Please also note that I will never ever ask you for any details about your credit card or anything. I know there's a lot of spam and scam, so please be aware of that. The winners will be announced in the next episode. So if you are interested, please subscribe, leave a small comment on why you would like to have the granny pattern or why you want to learn to crochet or crochet. If you're a lover of granny squares, anything is possible. And then I will pick 3 names. So that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!